The Mayans were mainly found in southern Mesoamerica, in places like Guatemala, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, parts of Honduras, and El Salvador. The earliest Mayan urban site was in 800 BCE, and Acabe was the most important one. The Mayan attire consists of being very colorful and embroidered. Mayan women were usually seen wearing loose blouses, a long skirt, to which a colorful belt or sash would be added. They would also wrap a long scarf to their hips and tie it to the side. In the winter, the Mayan women would add a shawl to their daily attire. Mayan men wore loincloths to which they would add a wraparound skirt. They would also carry a woven bag. Many men wore colorful cloth turbans on their head, and in the winter they would add a poncho. Mayans wore a lot of jewelry. The rich would wear jewelry made out of gold, silver, copper, turtle shell, and gemstone, and the poor usually made theirs out of bones, sticks, and painted clay. Nobles were distinguished by their hats, the bigger the better, and only they could have feathers. The Mayan clothing was more of a communication for them, because you could identify someone's social status, family, and community. The Mayans didn't have much of a leisure time, but they did try to make their sacrifices and prayers fun. For example, in order to give thanks and to pray, they would dance. They would also create dance costumes that were as noisy as possible. Along with their costumes, the dancers were also accompanied by drums, turtle rattles, flutes, whistles, and shell instruments. The following is an example. Most of the Mayans' daily life consisted of growing crops like beans, squash, cassava, and maize, better known as corn, while other Mayans would spend most of their daily time carving wood and making jewelry out of jade. The Mayans are also known to have created many items. One is paper from tree bark. The Mayans of the classic period also developed the most advanced unique writing system, which was inscribed writing and calendrical symbols in stone, pottery, and other imperishable structures. One of their most famous creations is the Mayan calendar.
The Mayan civilization was composed of many man made buildings and temples. Religious temples were built mostly in the center of the cities and were very dramatic. The temples could be up to 200 feet high with roof combs to seem taller, and they were usually placed on top of the pyramids in order to be closer to heaven. The temples were creatively decorated with sculptures made by cut stone or stucco, which is a plaster made by lime, and had several floors of steep stairs to access the entrance of the temple. Natural light and air only came in through the entrance doorway. The rest of the temple was dark and damp, and it had several small rooms where the Mayan priests would perform religious rituals. There were also round buildings or monuments which were carefully arranged around the cities. These round temples are believed to be astronomical observatories. The Mayans were a very religious group of people. They worshipped various gods, many of which were related to nature, like the god of the sun, rain, and corn. They believed creations were cyclical, and they believed to be the third creation. The Mayans appointed kings they called Kuhol Jaw, which meant Holy Lord. These kings, along with other rulers and the elite, had all religious and political authority. They were considered to be the only ones who can serve as mediators between the gods and the people on earth. It is said that religious leaders sometimes claim to be related to the gods in order to instill fear in the people and justify their authority. Religious leaders performed a variety of religious ceremonies and rituals that include bloodletting to communicate with ancestors, human sacrifice of captives from war, and ball games as symbolic reenactments. Every major Mayan city had a ball court where ball games known as Pocatac were played as a symbolic reenactment of the battle between the hero twins and the lords of the underworld. The ball courts were about the size of a basketball court with sloping walls on each side and a ring right in the center. The object of the game was to bounce the rubber ball with heavily padded hips, shoulders, or forearms through the ring without throwing or kicking the ball. Two teams competed, and valuables like jade, gold, houses, and slaves were at stake. The winning team players were allowed to collect valuables, clothing, and jewelry from the spectators. The losing team players were sometimes sacrificed by being beheaded or thrown down pyramids while being tied up into a ball. The Mayans accomplished many things during their time. They observed and understood astronomy. They created a written language to communicate. They built substantial cities without any heavy machinery or modern equipment. They grew crops in unmanageable climates, and they used complicated calendar systems to measure time. Although the Mayan civilization declined and many aspects of their culture remain a mystery, they have left behind a legacy that proves that they were a group of creative and intellectual innovators.